We are speaking with singer Johannes Braun of the band Kissin Dynamite. Their new album, Not the End of the Road, currently number 2 on the German charts. As we say here in Montreal, bonjour, Johannes. How are you?
I'm good. Nice to talk to you.
Pleasure to talk to you. And normally I'd be joined by my co-host Jeremy White, but I don't know. He's gone missing in action. But let's talk about this album. I mean, you're, as it says in the press release, a revival of 80s German metal. So Accept and Scorpions and all that stuff. Talk to me as a new band about going back and getting that sort of hard melodic rock sound, because everybody says, well, rock is dead, and you don't, and yet here you are, number 2 on the charts in Germany. Great music, and of course part of the Peacemaker soundtrack. Talk to me about making that sort of old melodic rock, making it new again.
Well, I would like to start with the "rock is dead" quote. I'm really getting pissed off if I listen to that and if I read about that bullshit. I mean, this is Gene Simmons telling us, and he's a billionaire, that became a billionaire with what? With rock.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
and he's still selling out stadiums with his band Kiss. I mean, I love Kiss. It's no offense against the music from Kiss. I love that music, but he's still selling out stadiums all over the world, and he really tells the world rock is dead. I can't believe it. And I would so much disagree on this, because in a lot of ways, because rock is first of all an attitude. It's something that you feel inside. If you're not comfortable with all the rest that's going on, if you have a rebel inside, that's rock. We feel that so much, and a lot of other people feel that so much too. And as long as this feeling is alive, rock is alive, you know. So and when it comes to the music and this the how do you call it, the success with sold CDs and stuff, of course, I mean, you can't compare it with the 80s or the 90s, where you could sell big multi-platinum awards with your record. Of course, these times are more difficult than back in the days, but who fucking cares? We don't do that to become billionaires. We do this music because we love it, you know. And I mean, it's great to see the charts result that we have in Germany on number 2. I mean, that's practically number 1. So this again is actually a sign that rock can't be dead, because if it reaches so many people here in Germany and also some other countries that we get great feedback, then it can't be dead. It must be alive, and I believe that it will stay alive forever. So let me,
I agree.
in all respect to Kiss and Gene Simmons, fuck this quote, please. Forever fuck this quote.
Listen, I fully agree. And you look at who's playing stadiums this summer or playing stadiums over the last few years. It's Metallica, it's Def Leppard, it's Journey, it's rock bands.
Yeah,
It's rock bands.
yeah,
And it's also very myopic in the sense that it might perhaps be less popular in the States, but you go to Wacken, you go to Hellfest, you go to Europe, you go see FM, you go see Thunder, you go see the Dan Reed Network, you go see Kissing Dino, Gothard. There is a lot of great new music being made in Germany, England, Sweden. It's alive. It's
it's
just not.
alive. Yeah.
It's maybe not alive in Wisconsin, but it's alive. Europe. I mean, all those bands I've named in the last 10 years have put out 3, 4, 5 albums each. All great stuff. They're all doing great shows over in Europe.
Absolutely,
It's a dumb quote. It really is.
absolutely.
But talk to me about you guys coming into the business and you go, we're a rock band and we're gonna do melodic hard rock. We're gonna do, we're gonna do what we love. You're even named after an AC/DC song, for crying out loud.
Mhm.
Um, you didn't worry about charts, and you didn't have people in the record companies going, dude, you should boot a little more, modern. You should change your sound. Did you not face any of that?
And that good that you talk about that, because that's the initial point where we feel different from all the rest of the music business, because we didn't approach an a label with ourselves, telling them, okay, now we want to become successful musicians. What shall we do? We approached labels when we had our finished first demo EP, more than how many years is it? Almost 15 years ago. So of course, they could have sent us away and telling us, okay, well, this music was popular 30 years ago. You should do this and that now. But if they told us so, our answer would have been, okay, then fuck off. Then we go to the next. But the funny thing is, we didn't even have to search long, because I think in retrospective, they might have found that pretty hilarious and pretty interesting that, well, basically we were kids, 15, 16 years old, coming to their big label houses with a music that was more or less played in the 80s. I guess it might have been so weird to them that it already felt like, okay, this can be really successful. But to us, it never was the question if this is the thing that we get successful with, or if we should do something else. For us, it was our heart project. We created Kissin Dynamite because we love Bon Jovi, we love the Scorpions, we love Def Leppard, we love AC/DC, Iron Maiden, just to name a few. And those bands had this magic that you cannot put in words, to me, at least magic for us. And we
Magic
simply
for me
wanted...
too. You just mentioned all my favorite bands, by the way. So
Okay, well, there you go. And so we basically wanted to pay tribute to our big heroes with our first record that was released 2008. And you can clearly hear that we didn't have a style or anything. There was a song that reminded exactly of AC/DC. Then there was a song that reminded of Iron Maiden, another one of the Scorpions. It was like a very, very colorful picture that's had no red line, so to speak. And this is the only thing that we developed over the years to put it all in a melting pot, so to speak, to purify the Kissin Dynamite trademark sound. And this took a while, and we wanted that for ourselves. No label told us, no producer told us, no management told us. We wanted that for ourselves. And over the records that came, we more and more felt, okay, now this is it. And we finally felt that we arrived with our last album, Ecstasy. I don't know if you know that one, but from this moment, we knew, okay, this is it. This is Kissin Dynamite. We don't change a fuck from now on. And so Not the End of the Road picks up exactly where Ecstasy ended. So of course, with new songs and new colors here and there, but this is the trademark sound of Kissin Dynamite, and we're so much proud of it. And even prouder, of course, to see that it gets received well to a big audience already. But we never made it to become Ferrari drivers.
yeah, though that wouldn't hurt. All right, so let's talk about this Peacemaker show that's going on currently in the States. It's not really available in Europe yet. Your song 6 Feet Under gets picked for the soundtrack. First of all, tell me about how does that happen? Do they just reach out and then what does it mean for the band? Because that now puts you on a next level. All of a sudden, millions of people are hearing your song and going, "Oh, I like that."
Honest answer?
Yeah.
I don't have a fucking clue. It's like it's for neither of your questions. I didn't know how it was possible because we didn't approach them, or they didn't approach us. They more or less approached the
record company.
The record company and the publishing. Of course, we've seen a mail once in a while that some American series wants to pick our song, and we thought, oh, okay, cool. But we already seen that it's with John Cena, right?
Yeah.
A big wrestling star, and a lot of years ago, me and my brother, we watched this big wrestling show. What was the name again?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
We're
it doesn't even matter.
right.
But John Cena was a big star of this wrestling competition too, and so we were quite surprised and, of course, a little well overwhelmed by the news. But of course, it's good promotion here, and that the song is now available to an audience that we normally wouldn't reach is also great stuff. I mean, really great stuff. But honestly, I haven't seen an episode so far.
Right.
You named it. We don't have it here in Europe. When it comes out, I'm definitely gonna check it out. But so far, I don't get any feedback or any approach to it because we simply have no
Have no way of watching it, and that's
yes,
what. But
exactly.
that's what's great about this, in a sense, is that you're getting this first wave of attention from North America, and yet 6 months from now you're going to get the second wave of attention. So it's got to be great for
Yeah,
the band to get that sort of double tsunami coming at you, of
sure,
publicity
sure.
and of interest, and you
Yeah,
know.
sure.
Um, so does it change anything though for you? I mean, are you noticing more streams? Are you noticing more interviews? Are you noticing more interest? Are people going, "Oh, they're on that show. Okay, it's got to help."
Well, I would say so that we, or for me personally, since I do the most interviews, I'm talking a lot to US and Canada right now. That's actually true, but also to a lot of other countries which I never did interviews before. For example, India, and a week ago there was uh, an interview to that was so funny. An interview to, what was the name of this island? Hold on a second.
Aruba,
The Faroe Islands. You
oh,
know where
the
that
Faroe
is?
Islands. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Faroe Islands. So I never been there, but this landscape looks just amazing. And
Yeah.
for me, it's always okay. I'm the little guy from the village up in the Swabian mountains, and now I'm talking to a lot of people worldwide. It still confuses me after 15 years, and I guess that's a good thing because we know where we come from.
Yeah, and let me ask you this, because when you look at the soundtrack and you look at some of the bands on there, you're talking the Poodles, you're talking Wigwam, you're talking London Choir Boys.
I
There's a
know them all.
right, and there's a lot of older music in the sense that these are bands that have been around for 20 years or so. Do you like being grouped in with those names, or do you go, "Ah, oh, come on, we're a fresh band," or how do you sort of see that? I think it's great.
I always love the Poodles. I
Yeah,
think they
Jacob's
really have,
great. Jacob's
yeah, an
fantastic.
amazing singer.
Yeah.
And to be in line with the Poodles, I feel comfortable. I don't have any problems with that. And I mean, even if not, we couldn't help it, right? So we
Yeah, you just take it. Yeah.
take it or leave it, yeah. And it's no, it's cool for us. And also, I think also this from pictures that I see from this series. Really, it appears to me to like some rock slapstick show. Is that basically right? Or
I haven't seen it myself, quite frankly.
okay, okay,
It's on a channel in Canada that I don't have access to because
okay,
I don't subscribe. So,
okay.
but
So we'll find out both.
we'll find out both of it. Now Jeremy loves it. He watches it. My co-host watches it,
Okay.
religiously and thinks it's the greatest thing on TV. So
All right. Okay.
it probably is. It probably is. Let me ask you this. You mentioned Bon Jovi before, and I'm just going to take this up with you because I'm a huge Bon Jovi fan. Are you one of these Bon Jovi fans that have stuck with them all through the years and think that they're still doing great stuff? Or are you one of these that go, ugh, they stopped being good when Richie left? And
You know what? I'm being pretty direct. I don't like the new stuff.
okay,
I don't get the country stuff that they're doing nowadays. And sorry, but to me it appeals like country rock,
yeah,
what they're doing nowadays. I can understand that from one perspective, because of course they are getting older too. And maybe if you pass your 60s, then you don't want to be the rebel anymore that screams in the highest notes. I totally get that. But for me personally, I like the wilder, rougher side of Bon Jovi much more. For me, Slippery When Wet is the album in rock. Amen.
I agree. It's my favorite.
And,
It's the
and
one that got me back into rock, I got to tell you. So
yeah,
back in the day.
and this is the style of Bon Jovi that I love the most.
And the song "Social Disease" is great. I don't care what anybody says.
Yes.
I'll just put that out there. In terms of building it for a new band, do you have sort of a 5-year plan where you say, listen, if we're not playing the arena in Dusseldorf by 2025, we're just going to pack it up and go home? Or how do you see the future playing out in terms of success, and what keeps you motivated to keep this doing and not go, fuck it, it's not working?
Well, we said to each other on the 13th of February 2024, we must we must have sold 100,000 CDs, or we're gonna quit. No, of course not. I mean, such
But there is a
ideas.
business plan that has to be part of it. It can't just
Well,
be.
some bands do that, and I guess that's more a company thing. And of course, a band is also partly a company. But you know, I am a full professional musician. I live with and by music for a decade now, and that makes me very proud. But it's not just a band. I'm a full-time producer and professional songwriter.
Okay.
So I don't, and I think that's a good thing, to not be so much in trouble in your mind, thinking, oh shit, okay, the band must be taken on the next level because I have to pay my rent, I have to pay this and that, and my existence. What I'm talking about.
Right.
It gives me super relaxed feelings, because my work as a producer and songwriter, besides Kissin Dynamite, is going very, very well. And for the rest of the bands, some similar realities are true. So we never have this, I don't know the English word for this, but such a super serious
approach. I mean, because there is a point where band gives way to brand, and you have to worry about the brand, and you have to worry about.
Yeah, well, don't get me wrong. I mean, all that we do that with seriosity, and we want to, if we put out something, a new record or new merch and everything, we don't smile and say, okay, take that shit, we don't like it ourselves. We do that with all seriosity and with all our heart.
Right.
It's just not the thing that we say, okay, this must be the next big selling thing, or we have to quit and be working in a bakery.
Right.
This is a very good and relaxed feeling from the inside, and I would say this is even an engine, not an stopping or braking system, so to speak, because you do it with joy still, and joy keeps you being motivated over all those years. We hardly had no lineup change. We had our first lineup change last year, and I would practically say it had to do with the pandemic, because it changed a lot in people's minds. But it shows actually that we didn't have much of lineup changes, because we all did it and still do it with a lot of joy.
Right, and you have a vision.
Yeah.
In terms of songwriting, you mentioned you're a songwriter. Is that something that you want to, do you want to be sort of a Desmond Child where you're writing songs and handing them off to John and to Joe and to all these guys? Or do you want to just write for local German television? And do you see yourself moving away from being a frontman and just being one of these guys? You're the next.
You see me smiling, right?
Yeah.
I mean, of course, I love to write songs for other artists, and also artists that are really successful. I mean, that's the coolest thing about it. But to answer your last question, I can't imagine to quit the band just for the songwriting. For me, both is very equally important to myself. And you know, when it comes to these big names that you mentioned, I mean, it would be heaven if John Bon would take a song that I've written. This is probably not going to happen. And
No,
but of course, this is in my dreams. But right now, I'm doing very well over here in Germany, and also partly to some European bands. And I don't know. Do you know a band called Thunder Mother?
I do. The girl band. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I interviewed Thunder Mother, and
I
I have
wrote.
I have a Thunder shirt today, though it's not Thunder.
Okay, I wrote "Dog from Hell" with my girlfriend Anna.
Oh,
You know that
nice.
song?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Oh, that's
wrote
great.
that song for them, and so there are plenty of artists and bands that I worked for already. For example, also Beyond the Black, but that's more of a symphonic metal band. I don't know if you know that.
I do.
And of course, I love to get bigger and more more known as a songwriter, also not just as a singer of Kissin Dynamite, but you know, time will tell.
Time will tell. Let me ask you this, just from a language perspective. You've chosen obviously to sing in English. There are
Yes.
bands like Megawatt out of Switzerland that sing in, I guess, German or Swiss or whatever they call it. Talk to me about that in terms of choosing English as a language and not being like Nina Hagen or not Nina Hagen, Nina, and doing 99 Luftballons and
Yeah.
picking English as your language and not German.
That's an interesting question because I guess I never really thought about it. It's I would actually say it's because of our heroes, and they were never artists that sang in our mother tongue. As I mentioned, it was the Scorpions. I listened a lot to the Scorpions as a child, even. I needed to hear these records to calm down and fall finally asleep, because I couldn't if I didn't listen to the music. And same for Bon Jovi, and also Accept, and that's also an interesting thing. Accept is a German band, Scorpions is a German band, and they sang in English. So I basically thought this is the way to do it, you know. I never
Yeah.
questioned it. And so for me it was logical to do it in English too, since and I guess we're doing quite good in English. So it was not a blockade or barrier or you know,
One of those.
but
Yeah. No, it's just
more
that
of a challenge, you know. We wanted to sound international, of course,
yeah.
and that you know, you can put, I know, well, now this might sound arrogant. It's not meant arrogant. If you take Bon Jovi, Scorpions, and Kissing Dynamite, we didn't want to fall out, you know. We wanted to have the same level of internationality. And
Yeah.
so
And English is the international language. I mean, you know,
that's true. And I can't speak Mandarin.
yeah,
So
which is very popular. But
yeah.
you know, Mike Tramp of White Lion just put out an all Danish album, and it's getting no press because you know, unless you're living in Denmark, it's sort of inaccessible. Connie Bloom of Electric Boys did an all Swedish album, and you're just like, that's great.
Well, sounds interesting, but you don't feel what they want to express, right? And talking about Nina Hagen.
Yeah, I meant Nina from 99 Luftballon, but Nina Hagen is great too.
Yeah. You meant Nina, okay? But of course, there are bands and artists, just to name Rammstein, also, that were some kind of miracles, because with their mother tongue they even would break in the American, Canadian, Australian, English market, which I found is impressive, but that's just not common. That's it. It's just it's a miracle.
It's true. And being in Montreal or in Quebec, we've had, you know, Celine Dion and all kind of Rock Voisine who come out in French and they and then they go nowhere, and then they do an English album, and suddenly, Vegas residency, Titanic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I ask, because it's nice to do your own stuff, but at some point, if you want to get to that next level,
yeah,
it has to be in English. I mean, and
totally.
It's not a political statement. It's just
Absolutely.
it just is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. Not the End of the Road, available now, currently #2 in Germany, and as we say in Montreal, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure, and I love the music. It's great music.
Thank you so much, Mitch. It
Yeah.
was a pleasure talking to you too.
You too. Cheers.
Bye bye.
Bye bye now. All right, there you go. Thank you.